So beautiful. Soul family, Rebecca here, your vibe mentor. Let's talk about what it means to be love. I have to admit, the divine calls me to the next lesson before I have completed the previous one. And many times there's an overlap in a very strange and sometimes uncomfortable way. Sometimes it almost feels a little unfair to be called to, especially this lesson in this moment. And it was brought to my attention this morning that I need to step more into being love. And while this has been an ongoing calling, it finally is hitting a place of resonance that I want to share with you today. What does it mean to be love? I find myself asking that question. What does it really mean? Because you can say, I am love, and there feels like a lack of embodied understanding, a lack of belief, and a lack of certainty or clarity on what does that actually mean. Sometimes we have to recognize that we don't fully understand our true authentic nature. That if the creator of the universe is ultimately love and there is one source, one power, and we are all part of that one source of love, then that means that we are also love. And if I make this statement, I am love, and I don't feel the embodied resonance of truth, the absolute certainty and clarity that, yes, I am at my core love, then that begs my attention. Something is getting in the way of that. There's clouds or confusion or a veil of separation that's keeping me from realizing not just my authentic nature, but the powerful gifts that can flow through the understanding of what it means to truly know and be love. It means that we're being held back from our purpose because our purpose is going to be facilitated from our authentic nature. I also know that there are two types of thoughts, either thoughts of fear or thoughts of love. So if I'm not thinking purely in the vein of the love that I am, that means that there are thoughts of fear getting in the way. I know that I need to get to that embodied belief, and yet it's hard sometimes, especially in moments of pain. And I don't usually share what I'm in, so I'm going to be careful not to say too much today, but in the very near future, I will be sharing a lot more about what has been happening personally. It's time for a personal update, so I will do that soon. But just know that in this current time of transition, it is possible to hold excitement for the future and sadness, pain. And yet, while we are experiencing pain, while things may be difficult, we still are called to be love, even to people that have hurt us, even to people who didn't deserve us. And so while we are holding the pain, we can still at the same time learn to be love and to hold the truth of who we are as our primary state of being and how we lead in life, how we lead ourselves and how we lead others, how we move through life should be guided by that core authentic nature of love. And yet we get so far from it. Rightfully so. I mean, there's plenty of excuses or reasons that we could say, I need to be more protective. I need to be more defensive. I need to be more offensive. And yet it keeps us from our authentic nature when we do. And there has become a clarity in my stepping into this, in the understanding of what does it actually mean to be love, that has offered a profound, I almost said awakening, so I don't want to cut that off, but a profound realization, a clarity that the things that we seek all boil down to love, that the purpose and the freedom and the expansion and the impact and the peace, the joy, all of it, the abundance, all of it comes from being in that state of a loving presence, to say, I am love. And as you start to ask the questions, what does that actually mean? If I know I need to be this thing, I know this is my authentic nature, there's nothing more authentic than that core of love. How do I step into becoming it? How do I realize the embodied knowing and sensation, the somatic clarity of lovingness to be love. And when we start to understand at least why we want to do it or what will come when we do it, then it gives us a little bit more motivation. And we can start to look at what keeps me from it. And for me, that was the trauma that I experienced, a very painful childhood, many, many adverse childhood experiences. If you haven't looked it up, there's a test you can go see. And even for those who don't qualify as having trauma or don't consider yourself having trauma, it's the way of the world, the suppression of emotion, the hustle and grind culture, the putting yourself first and being willing to do whatever it takes at all costs to get ahead. It causes us to close off our hearts. It causes us to cut ourselves off from the source of who we are, the source of love. And at the end of the day, while we say, I want a relationship, or I want to be successful, or I want to make so much money, or I want health, at the end of the day, what we want is that peace of knowing that we are loved and lovable. And we have to look at why. Why did we stop allowing ourselves to feel that? What pain or trauma has gotten in the way? What fear took over? What beliefs kept us in that need for defense and protection and numbing? Luckily, I was gifted the gift of somatic trauma spotting, and that finally opened me up to see that I didn't have the capacity for love. I had a very thick wall around my heart because I had too much pain. I couldn't tolerate, I couldn't risk giving myself to one more person who was going to take advantage. And it is possible to heal. It is possible to regain your capacity. I use the analogy for those of you that follow me often. I don't have my regular cup, but we're going to use the water tin, whatever you call it, tumbler. We are like the cup, and our trauma and our stress are the water. And what happens when you don't have any more space? You spill over. And that causes us to need that defense mechanisms, like walling our hearts off, right? But when you learn to start to heal those things and close the stress responses that live in the body and work with those parts that are scared and terrified of opening up, then you can empty your cup, regain some capacity, and you have more tolerance, more ability to deal with, I don't even want to say deal with, it doesn't feel right, more ability to keep yourself safe, more ability to recognize true threat, not the threat that is perceived and exaggerated and cuts you off from love and connection, but real threat. And it allows you to start to see that the way people treated you had nothing to do with you, that oftentimes someone who mistreats you is just incapable of understanding and valuing you. It is not that you're not worthy. It's just that they're so unhealed that hurt people. And we put ourselves in that situation. So that's the beautiful understanding that we don't have to put ourselves in that situation anymore. When we heal, we have the capacity to see who's healthy and who's not. We have the capacity to go out and dip our toe in the water and see where we can offer a little bit more of ourselves safely. It allows us to melt the ice wall. We don't need a wall over our hearts anymore, because we're able to sense and feel into people and where they're at and understand that any type of rejection is just protection because they're not capable of loving you, right? When we start to heal and melt that ice wall, it allows us to grow our own capacity for love, to move towards relationships that are healthy, because that is the highest state of the nervous system, is love and connection. That if you're anything like me, I have a natural desire to want to pour into and love on people. I love love. I love loving people. And that led to a lot of pain, which caused me to cut off from a part of who I was naturally. Sorry, I didn't plan to cry. Will I post it? Yes, I will. Because this is part of love too. I deserve to cry. I deserve to be soft. Deserve to be protected. And I will continue to be love, even in pain. I had to take a second to collect myself there, but just to reiterate that some of us love to love people. Some of us love to pour into other people. And when we did that in our early years, that led to a lot of pain. And so we had to cut ourselves off. We had to stop giving ourselves to other people. We had to put that ice wall up. And it was necessary. And those parts of you, they did a good job because that was all they knew how to do. And nobody taught us how to have boundaries or how to heal trauma or how to empty our cup. But when you start to learn how to do that, the pain is not so great. I will acknowledge there's a current situation that is bringing some of this up. So I don't want you to think that this is the past necessarily. And yes, it is true that when we open back up to love, that we feel all of the things. We feel the pain and we feel the love all at the same time. And yet you have the capacity to hold that and recognize the importance of it. Because the most powerful source of creation that moves through you is an open heart. And an open heart is going to have to be able to feel all the things. You don't get to pick just the good and not the bad, because when you suppress one, you suppress everything. And some of the most beautiful relationships are able to hold each other through the good and the bad. And really, at the end of the day, no emotion is bad. It's all information, guidance on which way to move forward. And while it doesn't necessarily seem desirable in this moment, being able to step back into feeling, being able to step back into love, insisting on regaining and reclaiming my natural core desire to pour love into people, even if they don't deserve it. It's a beautiful thing because I get part of me back. And I don't have to put myself in difficult situations. I don't have to put myself in unsafe places. I certainly will never allow myself to be in the environment with an unhealthy person for very long. I will protect myself. But I still choose to have an open heart, even through all of that. And what that does is it allows you to see the love and the beauty that is all around you, in everyone and in everything. When you are coming with, you're coming with love, when you're leading from a place of love, when you're moving through love, when you're allowing love to lead you, your heart swells. The expansion, the bigness of the love that wants to move through you is so powerful and so beautiful. It allows you to see the good in someone, even though what they're leading with is pain or fear. You can see it at a distance. You can love them from a safe place, but you don't want to give up the bigness of this beautiful understanding of what it means to be love. And so take a moment to allow yourself to feel your heart and notice, what does your heart feel like? How would you describe that feeling? Would you say it's droopy or sad or cold, or is it getting a little warmer? Is it opening up? Is it ready to expand? Allow the heart opening to happen so that you can pour love, not just into others, but into yourself, to allow yourself to feel your oneness with the source of all that is love. And then, because it's so big and there's so much and you have so much to give, you pour from an overflowing cup. There is no sacrifice. The expansion that comes with that, everything moves through this portal of love that is beating in your chest. There is no resistance. There's no friction. There's no lack. only flow, natural, easy, effortless, flowing love. Everything you desire becomes available. And what's kind of interesting is, yes, the material is part of that, but you kind of don't even care anymore, because at the end of the day, what you really wanted was the love, joy, beauty, awe, peace, all of it comes through that state of being love. So take a moment to get to know your heart. Allow yourself to sense, where are you at? Is your heart closed? Is your heart open? Are you able to allow yourself to give and receive love? Are you afraid of love? Does it hurt? And if so, be willing to look at those traumas, look at those pains, reach out to someone for help. Remembering the highest state of the nervous system is love and connection. You're not meant to do this alone. The divine designed us for unity. We are all one. We are trying to come back home to each other, and that is through love. Thank you for being here with me. I do love you. Whether or not you know me, I feel you. I feel all of you in all of these videos. I would love it if you'd come say hi on a free session. I'll have to put the link below. I think I turned that one off. So for this video all alone, if you want to come share some love and receive some love, I will put that back up. That is my Christmas gift and my Thanksgiving gift to you. Happy Thanksgiving. I love you so much. And if it's beyond that date, it doesn't matter. I'm grateful for you, and I will give you this gift regardless. Thank you for sending me your love. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I am so grateful for you, and I consider every single one of you part of my soul family, even if you watch just to spy on me, because I know you're out there too. I don't care. I will still send you love. And that is all I have for you. Namaste.